Hello and welcome back to another episode of Never Seen It. I am your host this week, Betsy, and with me as always is Trent.
Hey.
We are continuing on in our adventure series, all 5 Indiana Jones movies. We are on to number 2 from 1984. We are going to watch Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Now, Trent, in the first episode, we covered that you had seen Raiders one time, but moving forward, we are going in completely blind. You have not seen any of the remaining Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah, if you are joining us in the middle of the series, number 1, go back and listen to the first one. Yes, I had seen the first one, but just for completion's sake, we covered the first one. And also because I've only ever seen it once, and it was like 8 years ago.
Yes.
So, anyway, yeah, we're going to cover Temple of Doom. I have not seen any other Indiana Jones movie, and the more we go along, the less I'm going to know about these movies.
So, on that topic, is there anything you actually can tell me about Temple of Doom that you are aware of, have heard of, anything at all?
The only thing that I am 100% sure about is that this is the introduction of Short Round, and I have no idea if he appears in any of the other movies. Of course, it is played by the actor who just won Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars last year, and they had Harrison Ford gave out the award for Best Picture at the Oscars, and these two got to get back together again for the first time.
Yes, this movie of any of this series has been talked about a lot because Ke Huy Quan was in Everything Everywhere All at Once, so everybody has been revisiting this movie that he was introduced in 40 years ago, and he has appeared before in Goonies, so that was a later movie he made after this, but this one is his first big break and the thing most people know him from. So when Everything Everywhere came out, I was like, hey, it's Short Round.
I think there's a lot of people who said that, and that's the movie that everybody kind of gloms onto because it wasn't a movie like The Goonies that is meant for children and bad people.
You were just gonna go on about this movie.
I'm never going to give that up. Goonies fucking sucks. Go listen to that episode if you haven't already.
Fine. So one thing I will just plain tell you about this movie is while it is the second in the series, this is actually technically a prequel.
Oh.
Because the first one takes place in 1936. This one takes place in 1934, I think.
Okay, so no more Nazis.
I can't remember. This is one, honestly, I have not seen nearly as many times as the other two.
Yeah.
Because it has a reputation of being a lot darker.
Yeah, you said that in your home growing up, you only had access to number 1 and number 3.
Yes, we had those two. And this one we could get like at the library.
Yeah.
But I don't know that my mom liked us watching it because she didn't like watching it.
And I have no idea why this is considered darker. I really do not know anything else. Now, I remember you said that I needed to, hang on to some concepts here that they're carrying over from the first one. But now that you're saying that it's a prequel, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it's more an overarching thing I want you to just hold on to that I'm going to bring up when it so suits me later in the series.
Oh, later in the series, not necessarily for this
one. Not
one.
necessarily this
all
one,
right,
but it's something I want you to be thinking about throughout, so hence my bringing it up in the first episode.
Fair enough.
But yes, there is a little bit of a darker element to this one. There are some things we'll get into once we watch the movie and have conversation about that affected how this movie was made, like what this movie ended up being about. But I do want you to know going in that it is a prequel in case you don't catch at the beginning. Like, they have a title card that says 1930 whatever.
Sure.
So if you're paying attention, you'll know it's a prequel.
Okay. Well, and they also, at the beginning of Raiders, put the year. So if you are paying attention, you're going to realize, oh, actually, this is in the past.
Right. We're watching these close enough together that I think you probably would notice, but I just want to make sure you notice that.
Okay.
Because it will come into play to some extent.
Yeah. And I know we said in the first one that there's going to be like a Holy Grail kind of a thing as well. We did the Ark of the Covenant, and there's probably going to be other artifacts and other is the overarching thing here like a whole lot of religious artifacts?
No, it's not.
Okay.
No. It's a weird thing that they did in 1 and 3 specifically.
All right.
But this one is not that. And frankly, because I haven't seen this one as many times, I can't even exactly remember what
wow.
is. It's a different movie tonally, so I'll just
Fine.
say that. We'll leave it at that going in. But we are going to go watch it. We're going to go see Temple of Doom, and we will be right back. And we're back. Do you see now, Trent, why maybe my mom wouldn't want us watching this movie when I was a kid?
Yeah. Wow, that was a change in tone. Yeah, this is very different.
It's not a bad movie. It is just so foundationally different from the trilogy. If we're just contextually saying the 80s movies in particular, that's where it started. This is the standout.
Yeah.
Of the group.
And I can see where the serial nature of these stories come into play. Like, George Lucas grew up on these like almost comic book type stories that he grew up on.
Action heroes.
Yeah. And this is just placing Indiana Jones into another scenario. This character, apply it to this other story, and then you can end it, and he can have another adventure next week.
Right. And the reason they did a sequel that is a prequel was because they didn't want to do more Nazis. They didn't want it to just be, it's more of the same thing, basically.
Right. And because it's only been like 3 years later in the time that the movies come out chronologically, I can see why they wouldn't want to do that, because by the time Indiana Jones would come back, there are still Nazis and there's a war going on. That's not as much fun.
No, so instead we went backwards in time to 1935, and the movie starts in Shanghai and ends in India. So a very different part of the world, much more diverse population than the first one. Like the first one arguably is pretty white. Even the people who are not white are played by white actors in some cases.
In some cases, yeah.
So this is much more true to the casting, but with exceptions. There are people.
We'll get there.
There are people in this movie who should not be playing the characters that they are playing, but it was the 80s, and that's kind of how it still was in those days. So yeah, this is not a bad movie, but it is so much darker than the first one. And the reason for that, and I told you this in the intro, is what was going on in the personal lives of the two at the helm. Both George Lucas and Steven Spielberg were going through breakups while this movie was being made. So it's a little on the nose that the plot they chose was a guy who literally rips people's hearts out. It's a little on the nose because that's George Lucas's story. But on the counterpoint to that, this is also the movie where Steven Spielberg met Kate Capshaw, who became his wife and is still his wife.
Okay.
So there was this weird thing happening where one of them was kind of falling out of love and one of them was falling in love. And yeah, they got married like a year or two after this movie came out.
Wow.
And she was still a really up-and-coming actress. This was very early in her career.
I'd never heard of her, so...
Yeah, it's interesting because once they got married, she still acted for a while, but she hasn't made any like major things that I'm familiar with anyway.
And she doesn't come back in the later Indy movies?
No, fuck no, Trent, this is a prequel. Like,
I know
you
that.
literally go from this movie to Raiders of the Lost Ark. Was she in Raiders of the Lost Ark?
No, but she could come back in subsequent movies.
She could, but I'm gonna tell you right now, she does not, and neither does Short Round.
Okay. That sucks, but I mean, it makes sense.
So yeah, you get this movie that is coming from a guy who's going through darker things, and he wanted it to be more like Empire Strikes Back, where it's the second darker chapter, but they both have admittedly said they maybe went a little too far.
And there's no continuation of the Indy story. It's just another different story. There's no advancement. There's no overarching conflict or story or anything. It's just the continuing adventures of Indiana Jones.
Which you're either going to love or you're going to hate. And
Yeah.
because of the subject matter, it's a lot easier to hate it. It just is.
Yeah.
Because like I told you, I was trying to remember what the fuck was the object they were after.
Yeah.
It's magic stones.
And it's not even something that they are setting out to do. They are tasked with this for some reason. They're saying yes to this village of people. I understand what's going on in the context of this story, but they could just, not do this. They could just go to Delhi and catch a flight
Listen,
back to Missouri.
There is a whole lot about this movie that is really easy to kind of nitpick and break apart.
Yep, and we're going to do that.
So you start the movie in Shanghai, and he is like getting the remains of the first emperor of China or something.
Something like that.
But the bad guy poisons him, and it turns into this big, like, he's trying to get the antidote, but she's trying to get the diamond.
Yeah, it's this weird, like, cartoonish.
It's like slapstick.
Thing. Yeah, it's the slapstick comedy version of that thing.
Then you have him diving out a window to escape into the waiting car driven by Short Round, which he now has a plucky child sidekick.
Uh-huh.
And a blonde woman who, let's be honest, has no reason to be with him this entire movie.
No.
They just, like, it's plausible. Okay, yes, they show them going straight from the club into the car, from the car to the airport, and then they go. And so she's just with him. She couldn't get out of the fucking car. Like, she's literally just there to scream this whole movie.
Oh yeah, I wrote down many notes about the fact. I mean, it may have something to do with the subject matter that you just said. If these two guys were going through a divorce or whatever, or a breakup, doesn't matter. An annoying woman screaming at you, in this case maybe nagging at you, maybe is just a kernel of truth in there.
Yeah, she is a really underwritten, in my opinion, character.
Yeah.
She has no substantive value to this. She doesn't add anything. She's just there to be a love interest, which we really didn't need.
Plus a gold digger.
Yes, she's
Literally.
obsessed with finer things and gold and jewels.
Well, she wants to marry the Maharaja until she finds out that it's a child. And she's also, like, obsessed with diamonds. She's going after the diamond that's on the floor being kicked around. And as soon as they say that there's a diamond inside of the stones, she perks up and it's like, ooh, diamonds, I'm involved now, even though this fucking dire situation is surrounding them.
I was just reading this. They wanted her to be the antithesis to Marion Ravenwood from the first one.
Who is very capable.
Oh, yeah, she definitely is that. She is blonde. She's kind of an idiot.
Yep.
She's complaining about breaking her nails. She's putting
put her
perfume
in, like,
on an elephant.
Yeah, she puts on this, like, skimpy dress that they give her and her tits are out, and it is the stereotypical princess role.
Yeah, the damsel in distress.
Yeah.
She is not useful to this situation. Even when he is like screaming, we are going to die.
Right.
She is reluctant to get involved and help them.
Yeah.
So she's frankly like the most annoying character in this series.
Yeah.
And that's with a plucky sidekick child character.
Who is awesome.
He's awesome.
He's great.
You would think in a movie where it's a child sidekick, kid actors can and often are obnoxious and annoying.
Sure.
Like it's the thing on TV shows when they get to a certain point and people start leaving the show, they replace them with the cousin.
Oh yeah.
It's the same sort of effect here where it's like, we'll give him somebody to look after and hang out with.
Or like in the 90s where they were making movies with a sidekick chimp.
Yeah, it's like something really stupid. Like,
Yeah.
we don't get an explanation. We get a partial explanation as to how he connected with Short Round. But at least with Kiwi Kwan, he is a capable actor even here. Like, he has got just the most expressive face, and he is committed to any stupid thing they're doing.
Yeah.
And
he talks back at Indy.
He's on an even plane with
yeah.
Indy.
And I think that's why they work together.
Yes, it shouldn't make any sense, but somehow it does.
And even like talking through this thick accent that he has, he's understandable.
Yeah.
And that's for a kid who is coming from this part of the world, not really having any kind of acting experience, he's knocking it out of the park.
Yeah. This is his introducing credit.
Yeah.
This is his very first movie, which is why when at the Oscars, when they were doing all the press for Everything Everywhere, there was an event where he and Harrison Ford ran into each other, and Harrison Ford immediately looked at him because he looks exactly the same. He is 40 years older, but his face is the same as this kid in this movie. And Harrison Ford recognized him immediately, pointed at him and said, "Are you Short Round?" And then they had this nice reunion. And my God, if you as an Indiana Jones fan who knows that story didn't watch the end of the Oscars when they won Best Picture and the two of them were like pointing at each other and hugging when he presented the Best Picture award. And how can that not make you emotional?
Totally. Just hearing all the different things of them coming back together and just having this connection still 40 years later.
Yeah, there's movies like this that just live on. And even if you have not had contact with each other, you've never worked with each other again, how are you not going to remember this kid who is now making such a comeback?
Sure, and for them to have such a connection on set, I think that really helped galvanize that.
Definitely.
Like, I can understand like some people in some movies where you don't really work with somebody all that much, or you're only in a couple of scenes together, and it's the business of making movies. You don't get to be around all of the other actors and interact with them.
Or sometimes you make a movie but you don't do any scenes together, or you have one scene together,
sure,
and then you forget you were in a movie together.
Right, like, or you're on the press junket, you just happen to be in the same movie, but you never worked together. You meet on the press junket.
That happened a few months ago. Jake Gyllenhaal was doing a press junket with Dennis Quaid, and somebody asked them about when they played father and son in The Day After Tomorrow. And Jake Gyllenhaal genuinely forgot that he played his father because most of their scenes are not together. They're on the phone with each other.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, spoiler alert for the 20-year-old movie, guys, they reunite.
They do, and they're in like a car together a couple of times. I think that's it.
But they have like 2 scenes the whole movie together.
Yeah.
And so 20 years later, he was like, "Oh yeah, that was you." It's easy to just kind of forget those things. It's not that you are unaware it happened. You just sort of buried that because why would that come up?
Yeah, and in this movie, they're in almost every scene together. And, you know, Harrison Ford being the kind of guy he is, he's going to connect with the people that he's working with, and it just happens to be a child.
Right.
You know?
And he went on to have, a decent career in the 80s. He made The Goonies like a year after this. So it's not like he just went away.
Well, again, as a child star, it's a very different transition to go into being an adult actor.
Well, I'll be very interested now that he has a fucking Academy Award. What happens from here?
I don't know. I'm being very cynical, not about him, but about the industry.
Oh yeah, the industry fucked him.
Yeah,
for a long time.
I would say he's got his Oscar now. I don't think that he's going to get much work as a result of that. If he does, he was going to get that role anyway, probably.
Well, all right then.
That's my opinion, and yeah.
Fine, be the cynic that you are, but we're going to take it back to the movie. So this movie, watching it this time, I found to be really cheesy.
Yeah.
Like in the special effects, like the majority of the movie is on a set.
Yes.
Which the first movie, they're on location. They're in Tunisia. There's these beautiful like sunsets and desert scenes. This movie, it's like, okay, you get the beginning when they're on the river and they go to the village, and then at the end on the drawbridge. And that's kind of it.
Yeah.
The rest of the movie is in a palace, which is clearly a set,
Yep.
and a club. Like, the movie starts with a big fucking musical number. If you want to talk about how different this movie is tonally to begin with.
You don't have Indiana Jones on screen until, like, well into this thing. After this entire, like, song and dance sequence.
You have Kate Capshaw singing Anything Goes in Chinese.
Yeah, in a different language. Yeah, it's very tonally different. And the feeling I was having watching it was that this was just kind of listless. I just don't know where this is going. This is just kind of random things happening. There's no through line.
Yeah, and it just sort of happens.
Yeah.
Like, you were sent to us by the gods because they took our rock and the rock sent you.
Right. And again, it's this, oh God, there's so many of the like white savior and magical person who knows all languages, and he is just the perfect specimen of a man.
Yeah, everyone in the world knows Dr. Jones.
And everybody knows him. Yeah, he's just this superhero, a la Superman, who can just drop in and help the poor brown people.
Yeah.
That's honestly the thought I was having this entire movie.
It's a little much.
3 times he was surrounded by people who were just speaking to him in their own language and like putting their arms up at
Reaching.
him. And he is like 6'5", towering
Not
over,
quite, but close
towering
enough.
over everybody,
Yeah.
and it's just uncomfortable to watch. Especially the last scene of the fucking movie is a bunch of brown children praising them for saving them.
Yeah. Yeah, it and it's in 1935, which in India, there's a lot of complicated things happening between India and the British.
And
they sort
address that a little bit.
They brush past it like as quickly as possible.
Yeah, they don't address it, but they talk about it because there's this British captain there who is inspecting this palace, which, by the way, he's not doing a very good fucking job.
No, you didn't find the hidden entrance to the temple that is accessed by boobs.
And where the mine filled with slave children are.
Yeah. And the cult that is worshiping the blood god and the death god, and they're sacrificing humans in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing a bad job. And then, of course, they show up at the very end and shoot their fucking guns, and they save the day.
White savior.
More white saviorism. Fuck.
But yeah, this is just, like you said, it's listless. There's so much going on, and it's just like adding and adding and adding. You've got a blood cult. You've got voodoo dolls. You've got, if you drink the blood, it possesses
It's voodoo
you.
blood.
Yeah, they have people reaching in, living bodies, taking out the still beating heart, and then dropping people into
then
lava.
The thing even closes up. The wound closes up, and you don't die?
Yeah. Again, this is like some mystical shit. And Indiana Jones is the ultimate cynic and the ultimate non-believer in all this stuff. But at the end of all of these movies, he seems to participate in the fact that it's real. Like the first one with the Ark, he's like, okay, there's some shit going on here. Close your fucking eyes. Don't look at it.
And that's the thing. He is a fucking nerd, and he has read up on all this stuff. He's even heard of these 3-striped stones.
Right.
Like, he knew about them before they started saying
But
it.
at the end of this movie, he's yelling at the priest, the villain, and he's saying, you betrayed Shiva. And he's like speaking in the
he
language.
starts saying these words, and the stones start to heat up and cause a fire.
And it kills the man. He makes the man fall because he's going to grab the stone, and it burns his hand. But it doesn't burn Indy because he's a believer?
I don't fucking know, Betsy.
The stones are sentient. They know the difference between good guys and bad guys. Don't you worry your pretty little
The
head.
laws of thermodynamics do not apply to Indiana Jones.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
There you go.
So there is a lot there to digest, and it is just sort of continuing to be thrown at you while you're trying to figure it out. What's anybody's name, Trent? I don't fucking know anybody's name in this movie.
Willie.
Apart from Willie and Short Round.
Mm-hmm.
Willie, Short Round, Indiana Jones.
They brush past everything. They brush past all of the different... The Maharaja had a name, I think.
Probably.
But because they're all speaking in all of these different languages and accents, I don't know when they're switching from one language to another. And in modern movies, you would subtitle that in some capacity, at least the things that we need to know. The audience needs to know anyway, and they didn't do any of that here.
Well, that's a selective choice. If it's just sort of an action sequence, it's usually just a guy yelling commands. Mm-hmm. I think the rest of the time, if they were speaking another language, it was during one of the ceremonies. Everybody else, for the most part, spoke English in this movie. Because, of course, in 1935, everyone around the world, around Indiana Jones, speaks English.
Of course.
And Indiana Jones speaks every language on the planet.
Yes.
Like, he speaks Chinese, he speaks an Indian dialect, of which there are many, and they didn't exactly say which one this was.
Nope.
He also, in other movies, speaks German. Because, those are the three things that the same guy would study.
He is a historical kind of a guy, so... And maybe, there wasn't any really good translation materials in the 30s.
I don't know.
To do it, so he had to learn. I don't know.
What is his doctorate in? Is it just general archaeology? Because my sister has a doctorate. You have to have a thesis, something that you are fighting to defend to get your doctorate.
I guess I'll find out by the 4th movie, maybe?
No, Trent, I'm going to tell you right now, you have no idea. This guy could be an utter phony. He could have adopted the title of doctor, and we're just going along with it. It would really explain a lot of things about this movie. And just the
he's
character
just a con
in general.
man?
No, just the fact...
I'm putting my foot down. He is a con man. He is completely faking everything. He does do his research and all this stuff, but all he's trying to do is grave rob.
Which is why he's so bad at true archaeology. He doesn't take notes. He doesn't document the scene. He doesn't have any acknowledgement for the sanctity of the site. He just kind of starts beating things with hammers and gets down to the job.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about more of the movie here, rather than just our initial reaction anyway, because my feelings are kind of all over the place.
This movie is all over the place.
Yeah. So, we talked about the lounge act, we talked about the dancing girls, they're in Shanghai. Indy comes in his fucking white suit and red boutonniere.
Yeah, it's a good look. That's a very 1930s look.
It is.
And of course, then the rest of the movie, or at least for part of the next section, he hands those clothes when he puts on his Indiana Jones uniform.
Yeah, he gets back in costume.
He gives those clothes to Kate Capshaw, and she is wearing his clothes the rest of the movie.
Right. We have the him getting poisoned, the slapstick stuff happening in the lounge, but there's also one portion here where he had another helper with him, the guy with the gun, who gets shot.
A man we've never seen before in our lives.
Right.
Whose name is not important.
And a man who we will never see again.
No, he dead.
Yeah. So he gets shot, but there's this weird distraction with the champagne corks all going off around them.
Yep.
That was a clever scene.
There are moments of cleverness in this movie, like that one.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it just crosses the line into just cheesy.
Yeah. And of course, speaking of cheesy, as they're escaping, there's this fucking gong. There's also this other guy who walks in and starts shooting him while he's behind the gong.
Big machine gun.
Yeah, and the bullet indentations you can see on the other side of the gong, which was a nice touch. But it's rolling and rolling through the room here, and they're hiding behind it, and then they jump out the window.
Yes.
Yeah, that scene is another very cartoonish thing. And by the way, I have seen that actor who's shooting the gun in one other thing. He is in the first The Transporter with Jason Statham. He's the big bad guy.
Okay. I recognize his face. I don't know why. I've definitely seen him.
He has
in
a very
some other
distinct
stuff.
face.
He does. And by the by, I had to point it out to you, but they did show it again. The club they're in is called Club Obi-Wan.
The Obi-Wan Club or something like that.
At the top it says Obi-Wan Club, and then at the bottom it says Club Obi-Wan.
It doesn't matter.
I don't even know if they know what they want to call their club.
But yeah, it's very much apparent that this is the Obi-Wan Club. And then they do their escape sequence in the car, and Short Round has his quippy lines while they're driving, including when Indy is trying to grab inside of her dress to get the antidote. Short Round says, "There's no time for love, Dr. Jones," which was quoted in the first Clerks movie.
Which part is that?
Randall, it is a tossed off line. Randall is walking by somebody, and somebody asks him, "Oh no, I remember." Randall is out front, and there's a guy who was just in the quick stop. He left his keys on the counter, and Dante grabbed the keys and says, "Forgot your keys," and he puts it behind the counter. So the guy who lost his keys came back in and asked Randall as he's walking by, you see any keys around here? And Randall says, no time for love, Dr. Jones.
That doesn't even make sense to the scene.
It doesn't make any sense. He's just trying to be dismissive. But yeah, that's directly from this movie. I had no idea where it was from.
Contextually, it's always funny to think about this movie and that movie came out not that far apart.
Yeah.
Because what did that Clerks come out? 94? 95?
Yep.
Yeah, so a decade. And he's a guy who works at a video store.
Yeah.
So he would get this reference. But when they finally make it out of there, they drive to the airport. And who's at the airport, Trent?
Fucking Dan Aykroyd?
Dan Aykroyd.
What the hell?
It's one of those cameos that you might not even realize is happening. Like, I think anybody who grew up watching Ghostbusters is familiar enough with his face and his voice that they would get it immediately. However, I know a lot of people who have watched this and didn't know that was Dan Aykroyd.
Well, yeah, because he's putting on an accent. They barely show his face.
Yeah, he's got a mustache, he's shot from far away, and he's doing a British accent.
Yeah.
But it's definitely Dan Aykroyd.
Uh-huh, I knew it right away.
And he's on scene for approximately 12 seconds, and then he's not in the rest of the movie.
Right.
So go figure.
I don't get that at all. I mean, I understand Dan Aykroyd was a big star, but who approached who here? Was he just in the area?
It was probably...
Why would you have a guy like that show up in your movie for 12 seconds and then fuck off?
Well, wasn't he in that 1941 movie that Steven Spielberg did?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I think he had made a movie with Spielberg before.
Okay.
Around this time frame, maybe a little bit before this. I will have to confirm that, but we're not talking about that movie right now. It's just a justifiable reason. Then they get on a plane. And they escape the plane because the pilots ditched them and it's going to crash.
The pilots bail out. And by the way, the plane, I have to talk about this because I cannot not hear these things. When the plane is like sputtering out.
Because it's been drained of its fuel.
Uh-huh. The plane makes the same sound effects as the Millennium Falcon does when the hyperdrive doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's not that it sounds the same. It is the same.
It is the same fucking sound effect.
They have confirmed it is exactly the same sound.
What the hell?
I mean, it's for the nerds like you, Trent. They gotta give you something. They
No,
gotta
they
throw you a
don't.
bone.
No, they don't. Make a new sound.
I feel like you were screaming that half this movie. Anytime there was a noise, you were like, they use that sound in Star Wars.
Jesus Christ. As they were about to lower the first dude into the lava pit, as the doors were opening, the same sound as when the lightsabers turn on is the same sound that happens there.
I thought it was the sound when they open a door and like Darth Vader walks through on his spaceship, but
no, even that. If they're just fully lifting sound effects from another movie that is very recognizable, just don't do it.
It's George Lucas's movie. He can do what he wants.
Of course he can. I don't give a shit. But damn it, you have an entire staff of people,
a company
for
sound,
of Foley artists who can make shit. Have them make some more shit.
Ugh, fine. Whatever, Trent.
Jesus.
But yes, it makes that sound. They have to jump out of a plane in a life raft, which apparently the guys on Mythbusters busted this myth. Could you jump out of a plane and inflate the raft while you're falling and survive the fall? You could not. They did it 3 times.
No, you cannot.
But it's Indiana Jones. It's a movie. So, of course, they do survive. And they manage to slide down the snowy mountain, down a dirt rocky mountain, and into off a cliff, and into a river.
And they survive all of this.
They survive.
The seasons change suddenly.
Yep.
Like they've been in this dinghy for about an hour, and they've gone like an entire country's length.
Well, they went down a mountain is what they did.
I know.
So that's usually historically what happens if you go up a mountain is the seasons tend to change.
Indeed.
And then we just sort of get right to the plot. And they have to go and get these rocks because there were, like you said, the kids have been kidnapped and there's fires and blight on all the animals and the crops are dead.
Right. The old man, the old shaman man comes to them and says, we need your help. You were sent here by the gods, let's say, and you are meant to help us.
Yep.
You could just walk away. You just walk away from this guy. you're not gonna. You can just go. Just
No,
don't.
they can't just go. They
Just
have to
don't.
go. They have to go. And they have to have an excuse to ride on the elephants. And they have to have an excuse for Kate Capshaw to scream.
And whine.
And whine. And it's like, you literally could have left her in Shanghai. Why is she with you?
I just don't get that. And again, it is more just fucking jokes about her being uncomfortable. I did enjoy Indy and Short Round having themselves a poker game while she is just freaking out and they're just ignoring her completely. I loved that.
They make a comment, the only problem with her is the noise.
Right.
She just doesn't stop.
Again, it is more of the misogynistic nature of this movie coming out. It is.
It is. She's literally only there for him. Like, genuinely.
To
like
be
later,
annoyed by and then, like, forcibly
attracted
kiss.
to. Yeah. Later on, when he brings her food, because, of course, we haven't talked about the food scene yet, he is, like, putting the moves on her, and she is definitely wanting it to happen, but then she immediately, like, switches and says, no, get out of here. You're this could have been the best night of your life, but get out. You're gonna be back.
Right.
Like, what is this?
5 minutes.
Do you want this or do you not want this? Because it was a little bit confusing and you keep leading him on.
Again, that's the whole idea here. These men were getting dumped by their women and they were resentful of it.
I guess. She's a very badly written character.
She really is.
Listen, I'm not demeaning Kate Capshaw's performance because if the intention was for her to be an annoying woman, and she's not a bimbo. I wouldn't call her a bimbo. I just think she's more of an indoor girl.
And that's fine. But maybe just don't go along.
Just don't. Just leave her there. It's fine. She'll survive in Shanghai. God. There was really no reason for her to go with you.
Yeah.
So when they get to this palace, they have a big feast. And you were kind of having the reaction that I had many a time when I was a kid as they revealed the food at the feast. Such as snake surprise.
Yeah.
What's the surprise, Trent?
More snakes.
Yeah, I think they were eels maybe? I'm not sure. They were kind of slimy.
Yeah.
But they're live eels inside a cooked snake.
Yep.
And then they have baked beetles. They also have a soup with eyeballs in it.
We don't know what kind of eyeballs, but they're eyeballs.
Yep. And, of course, for dessert, chilled monkey brains.
Inside of the head of the monkey.
Yeah. They just serve it right in that monkey. And the point of this sequence is...
racism.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there.
I think I'm right.
It's like, hello, they eat weird food because their culture's weird.
That's right.
Or maybe that's not at all what anybody actually eats and you just want to make a weird movie with weird food. Yeah. This scene...
it was the 80s.
This scene, my entire life, has bothered me because it's supposed to bother me.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. Like, why?
Why do you think people our age and older who watch these movies, who watch a lot of these kinds of movies, who saw like the different cultures finally introduced to the Western audiences, how they have a problem with other kinds of cultures and people? Because they think that, yeah, these guys are weird and you cannot accept their customs. No, they like cheeseburgers. They like all sorts of different things that
McDonald's
Americans like.
McDonald's is fucking everywhere, guys.
KFC is everywhere. God damn it.
But also, if you venture out and try the cuisine, it's actually pretty good most places.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own cuisine, and you're just a little bitch if you don't want to try anything new.
Right.
You can like what you like, but don't knock it until you try it.
But I do like fruit. Fruit's good. That fruit looked pretty good.
She's like, I can live with fruit.
Yeah. But yeah, they have their weird flirty thing in the hallway and the like almost bet that, oh yeah, you're going to be coming begging for this.
In 5
minutes.
Just you wait.
Yeah, and they have their little sitcom moments of them back in their own rooms. And there's a fucking kid sleeping right here. Now, he's sleeping through a lot, but he's not going to sleep through that.
He does eventually wake up, but it does take a lot of noise for him to do it. He sleeps like the dead, that kid.
That's the thought I had. Short Round is right fucking there.
Yeah, and the guy that he ends up fighting accidentally strangles himself in the fan.
Yeah.
That's some fucked up shit.
Yeah, that's kind of the introduction of the, oh my God,
and
moments.
They kind of keep going that way. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's easy to forget things like, in the first one, when he gets into the fight with the guy at the airplane, he like gets his face mangled by the blades.
Yeah.
But you don't see it, but you know it happens. So it's not like really ultra violent things don't happen in this movie, but it feels more immediate in Temple of Doom.
Oh yeah, like when they get into the mines and there's like after they rescue the kids where he's fighting the big guy. Like he's on this conveyor belt and it's oh my God, he's gonna get eaten up by this.
There's a rock roller crusher
There's a roller thing, and then the dude gets fucking Judge Doomed from like in Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, he gets his long sash caught in it.
Yeah,
and he's starting to get pulled in.
And Indy's trying to save him.
He goes from fighting him to trying to save him, but it's too late, and he gets squished, and all you see is a squirt of blood.
And there would be more blood, Betsy.
There would be a lot.
There would be a lot more blood.
Yeah, there's just kind of a lot of that in this movie. Like,
They're
people
so
getting
fucking violent,
torn apart by alligators, or crocodiles. I'm not sure what they have in that part of the world.
Doesn't matter.
Then you've got him, ripping people's hearts out. You've got voodoo dolls.
Guy getting burned the fuck alive. And his heart just explodes in flame as well in his hand. How is he not burned? How would the heart not burn him, but the stones do?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's a fucking
thermodynamics.
Both Indy and Short Round get whipped.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is some serious beatings happening.
Yeah.
And so it feels really intense. And for all of these reasons, Trent, and you may not know this fun little nugget.
Oh, no.
This movie was one of the major catalysts for them instituting PG-13.
Yeah, we talked about that a couple of times. One of them was for Raiders of the Lost Ark and in some other movies that we have already covered.
But they ultimately went with PG because they didn't have anything in between. Right. It was PG or it was R. And having seen Raiders of the Lost Ark and having seen this one, PG doesn't make sense, but R doesn't make sense.
Based on what I know about the movies that were coming out in the 80s, I probably would have slapped this one with an R. Considering what other kinds of movies were getting put out, they were not going full ass violent and bloody and gory and everything else like they are now in the past 20 years, like they were in the 80s. So the rated R stuff of now is a lot worse than the rated R stuff of the 80s.
Right, but when they went R in the 80s, it went really far.
It could,
but in most cases it would. And this doesn't go that far. And I'm sure if they had gotten put in front of the MPAA, they probably could have argued with them. And so they got They got PG.
But that's the thing.
This is a movie for families. They intended large groups of people to see this movie, and you cannot put an R rating on this movie.
Which is why so many movies really, really trying to go for the PG-13 because everybody can go and see it.
Yes, but it didn't exist in 1984.
Yeah. But because you have Steven Spielberg and George Lucas coming to you with their film and they want a PG rating, guess what they got?
But they also helped contribute to The In-Between. Right. Because I think the third one is PG, but this one, if you were to go back and retroactively rate these, I would be willing to bet this one gets a PG-13. It just makes more sense.
If it existed, yes. Absent the PG-13 rating, I would have put an R rating on this.
Not when you're fighting with George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, you're not.
I realize that. But
in 1984, they got their way.
That's just me. But anyway, we haven't talked about all the fucking bugs in that cavern.
Oh yeah, there's a room of bugs.
Yeah. And
bugs.
These days, they would put a fucking warning on these movies if you have a problem with bugs.
Maybe.
Like, that was a lot.
It was a lot. There was like every cockroach that they could find in the filming area.
All these like fucking stick bugs and...
Yeah, that was like special shit they would have had to get from a bug guy. What do you call that?
I don't know, a bug guy.
A bug guy.
And they have the sequence of the spike ceiling and... Indy yelling at her through the hole in the wall was fucking great.
That is the single best moment in this movie.
It's the best shot in the movie.
He's being filmed through a hole, and it's just his face, like squished up against his screen. Like, we are going to die.
That's really great.
But they don't die, Trent, because he's Indiana Jones, that's not how this works.
It's true. But then they come across where the ceremony is happening, and there's all sorts of different music and chanting going on. And another thing that I have to point out here, during this sequence, the score is swelling.
John Williams at it again.
John Williams doing it. And Betsy, they have the people. It sounded almost identical to the people who are doing the vocals. There's not lyrics to this, but the vocals for Duel of the Fates.
It's a big choir of mixed voices and a big symphonic orchestra.
Yeah.
Composed by John Williams. Of course it's going to sound similar.
God damn it.
Listen, John Williams is a great composer, but sometimes if you listen to a lot of him, you notice that he kind of phones it in once in a while.
Okay, we watched
he borrows from himself.
Well, and we talked about it in the first Indy movie. A lot of those little flourishes sounded directly from the first Star Wars movie. This one, not so much.
This one's
very unique.
No, this one sounds much more unique, but if you listen to this, you hear stuff he did later.
Yeah.
So it's definitely...
I hear the Duel of Fates.
It is definitely John Williams. And this is not demeaning the man's work. No. He's an incredible composer.
You could repeat yourself 15 years later, and you created one of the best fucking songs to go along with one of the best fucking scenes in 1999.
I think most people would argue Duel of the Fates might be the single greatest composition of all time.
It's fucking
as
awesome.
Far as like movie composition goes.
Yeah.
It's really hard to argue against that.
Yeah.
Because it is a phenomenal piece of music.
Yes.
And everybody knows it. Even like, how many pieces of scored music do you know the fucking name of?
Right.
Like everything in this movie, every sequence has a name. Like every theme has a name because it has to. Well, but you don't know what it's called.
Well, like even we keep on talking about it, Star Wars, the Imperial March.
Yes.
You know what that sounds like.
It is called the Imperial March.
I could say that and you know what it sounds like.
And most composers, you can't do that.
No.
Because you don't give two shits. I would argue it's John Williams, and it's fucking Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I think Lord of the Rings is probably the only other one where people can name specific pieces of music from within.
Where, like, people, actors, characters, they get their own theme.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, going back to this scene of them in this cavern, in this ceremony thing, when Indy goes down to investigate the stones, the other two are back up in the opening area where they're looking over, and Willie is talking to Short Round. What is he doing? And there's this fucking perfect jump scare of the guy just popping up into frame, and it's just I could not think of a better way that you could have done that.
Also, it doesn't make any sense how the fuck he got up.
No, not at all. But I fucking love that. It's so good.
They all get captured at the same time. But you were also commenting about how he gets his like whip and he's swinging, and you kept screaming a lot in this movie about video games.
Oh yeah. So I have to have a little diatribe here about the fact that the people my age who grew up with Indiana Jones movies started making games about 15 years ago. So the sequences that you're seeing in this movie, the minecart thing, the thing with him swinging on his whip and him like shimmying and sidling along a narrow ledge and climbing everywhere, that's the Uncharted games, that's Tomb Raider, any number of these fucking games that have come out in the past 20 years.
It's just a way of maneuvering.
Yeah. I played a goddamn brand new video game with a minecart sequence almost exactly like this. This year.
How many ways can you do a minecart sequence? It's on a track. You ride the track.
But can you think of a lot of other movies with minecart sequences like this?
older movies. It's definitely something they did in like the 1930s and 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
It was a lot more common because
There were more mines.
there were more mines. Yeah, most people now wouldn't understand like the logistics of how you moved things within a mine.
Yeah.
I would be willing to bet if you asked kids, they would not be able to describe what a working mine
Sure.
in this time frame would have looked like.
And you're also saying, man, I see so many OSHA violations
I was.
in this mine.
I was really upset with them constructing shoddy rails above the lava pit.
That's right. Your brakes on your mine carts don't work.
Yeah, I'm gonna write you all up. You're getting heavily fined.
Speaking of violations, we have more violations of the laws of physics and again thermodynamics.
Or not even that, just the laws that the movie has already set up for you.
Sure.
They're breaking their own rules.
Right. So the sequence of the first time they bring the guy down into the lava
The
pit.
human sacrifice.
After they take the guy's heart and it magically fills back in, the wound heals itself.
He still lives without a heart.
Right, he's screaming bloody hell and he's going down, and before he gets dipped all the way in, he bursts into flames because number one, he's wearing clothes and he has skin.
And he is X number of feet above.
Correct.
He's still kind of a distance away.
And that is true to life. If you got that close to lava, it's that hot, you would start on fire.
Yes. So later in the movie, they get Willie. Mm-hmm. They don't remove her heart.
No.
Don't really know why, other than for reasons in the movie for her to survive. They don't justify it. They just literally are like, we're not going to take yours.
And like, he was gonna do it, and then they brought Indy over there. Were they gonna have him do it somehow? I don't know.
I don't know. They just kind of skim past that, and they're like, don't worry about it.
Sure.
And then they're lowering her into the lava pit, and she gets even closer than that guy did, and she does not burst into flame.
Yeah, and not her clothes. Because her clothes I'm sure, are very flammable.
And she is down there a long time.
Yes.
This has bothered me my whole life. Why she doesn't burst into flames. Because that other guy, is it because we didn't take her heart, she is not susceptible to the flames? Because once again, thermodynamics don't apply to the heroes of this film?
To the white people. Yeah.
My God, it's all becoming so clear.
I'm not joking here, Betsy.
This is serious.
Oh.
This is very serious. Yes, that is something that has really upset me my entire life. Anyway, do you have any other thoughts before we start wrapping this up, Trent?
The sheer number of children
Lots of children
came from this one village?
They were all from the village.
How? They're all about the same age?
They really like to fuck.
And like, you just look at the ages of the people in the village. None of them are like regular adults.
They're living a very hard life, Trent.
Sure. But how do you go from being a kid to like a 65-year-old woman? I don't get it.
There were some people that looked like they might be old enough / young enough to have children.
My point is, there's a ton of these kids.
The math doesn't check. You're not wrong.
No.
Unless we're having like litters of children at every time.
And one last thing here, and I know we're running long, but Jesus, literally, when they're gonna do the whole voodoo blood thing on Indy,
blood magic.
Yeah, the guy is like explaining what they're trying to do, and he says something to the effect of trying to like cast down the Christian God in favor of their own God and have them rule Earth. Something to that effect.
Yeah.
They literally come out and say, I want to kill your Christian God. How there wasn't more like fervor around that is kind of confusing to me.
Because they lose.
Of course they lose.
The bad guy loses. They don't get a chance to dominate the world with blood magic. It doesn't come to pass, so it's all fine.
Sure.
The white savior came and...
The white Christian savior.
The white Christian savior won the day. so we don't have to worry about the blood magic destroying our Christian God.
Replace Harrison Ford with Kirk Cameron, and
Oh,
everything,
God, no.
and,
Stop
and
that.
everything will be fine.
No. We're not doing that.
Fuck.
No, it is 2023 and Harrison Ford is still playing Indiana Jones, but
That's
that is
right.
not the movie we are talking about today.
All right.
That is-
I'm done talking about
Okay.
this movie.
Good. Well, we have 3 more of these to go, so we will have a lot more opportunities to talk about Indiana Jones as the white savior. But until then, we would love to hear your thoughts about this Indiana Jones, any of the Indiana Jones, not Kirk Cameron as Indiana Jones. I don't want your opinions on that. Please keep those to yourself. You can email us neverseenitpod@gmail.com. We don't have an email today, but we did want to talk about a couple of the comments that we got of our recent Hackers series. Specifically, as we were talking about Dan Aykroyd, one of the movies he was a part of, Sneakers.
Sneakers.
We posted that episode, and we found that a lot of people were commenting on the post, talking about how much they love this movie.
Yeah, and not really giving any kind of like details, and I said it in the episode, like, Sneakers was a movie that was highly recommended, not necessarily to me, but like people talking about Sneakers, saying that it's an awesome movie. And I'm not saying that they're wrong, I'm just not getting the fervor. I don't understand.
No, we've got Rebecca said, I love this movie.
Yeah.
Blake said, Sneakers rips.
Sure.
We got another comment that said, Sneakers is an awesome movie.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we don't get a whole lot of our comments read on the show because we don't get a lot of them, for one thing. But
and they're brief. Those are brief comments.
The sheer fact that we had 3 different people say that Sneakers, of all of our movies that we cover, that we post about, Sneakers? Really?
Of all of the movies we've covered, and specifically of the Hackers movies.
Yeah.
And this is just one that I didn't really know anything about. So it's just a growing fascination for me. So I would really love some people to elaborate.
Yeah. Tell us why. Why do you love Sneakers?
When did you first see Sneakers?
Yeah.
What is it about that movie in particular that spoke to you? Do you revisit this movie often?
Yeah.
I want the details.
And it's not like Betsy and I didn't like it. It's just...
I was just surprised.
It's just, okay, I'm with you. I liked it, but I want to know why. Like, tell me why you love this movie.
Yeah, I got some other comments on our page about like Swordfish having a kick-ass soundtrack.
Sure.
And, you know, Tron, nobody said a word about Tron.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay. I would have expected more about Tron because it's just such a cultural phenomenon.
It's a classic. Yeah, but anyway.
But yes, we would like to hear from you on this movie, any of the Hackers movies, any movie we have covered, or just really any movie you want to talk about.
Give us your rankings of the Indiana Jones movies. Like, there's only 4 of them so far.
Or you can pretend the 4th doesn't exist and you can just rank the 3. You can pretend the 5th doesn't exist and just rank the 4. We're not particular.
Yeah.
Email those lists to us at neverseenitpod@gmail.com. You can also comment on our posts because they are on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. We would love to hear your thoughts on any of those items that we put on there. We get all kinds of content on there, and I would love to hear your thoughts on movies because that's what this podcast is about.
We like to talk about movies.
We do. You can also support the show by clicking the link in the podcast description and help us bring you more quality nonsense like Indiana Jones as a white savior, essays, and TED Talks. But most of all, we would love if you would go to where you listen to your podcast and rank us 5 stars, which helps us get more listeners and grow the podcast.
Yeah.
We hear that helps. But that is going to be it for Temple of Doom. We've got some more movies for our Wednesdays in the month of June. And we have, like I said, 3 more Indiana Jones movies. So the next one obviously is going to be The Last Crusade.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have thoughts about that movie, definitely send them to us.
It's not going to be The Last Crusade. That's my prediction.
What? How could you possibly know that? The answer is I'm in the future as well. But in the meantime, I have been Betsy.
And I'm Trent.
And this has been Never Seen It. Thanks, guys.
See ya.